Oh, hello. Just kidding. I wanted to do something stupid, and that was pretty much it, wasn't it? I succeeded. My name's Bart Scott. I wrote one of the treatments that you're going to receive for your project this are you semesters, trimesters, quarters, I don't know. Uh, when your teacher, Mr. Ryman, or Jim, I don't know, does he let you call him Jim? Is he one of those cool teachers? Does he wear the corduroy jacket with the patches on the elbows? I don't know these things about him. But I know he's a great guy, and I'm sure he's a great instructor. So when he asked me if I wanted to help out with your, what's going on with my sideburn here? With your project, I couldn't say no. So I wrote I wrote a little treatment that I've actually been kind of playing with in my head for a while called Stay Hungry. I'm not a screenwriter, and those of you who read it, you'll know that pretty much right away. I'm not a screenwriter, I'm not a director, I'm an author. I've written a couple of books. My first book that did anything, and it's not saying a lot, was Ears of Steel, The Real Man's Guide to Walt Disney World. It's a humorous, satirical travel book about being a grown Walt Disney World fan, as you can see by all the junk behind me in my man corner table. That's right, I don't even get a man cave in my house, I get a corner. Most recently, I've written a children's book, children, young adult, middle grade. Maybe if I could narrow it down, I'd be a little more successful. It's called The Cats of the Castle. It's a fun book about the cats that live at Disneyland and then the adventures that they get into. But I'm not here to sell you books. I'm just trying to make the point that I'm not actually a screenwriter, although I do have Save the Cat right here. The last book on screenwriting you'll ever need. If I ever open it and read it, I might be sitting there with you. I don't know, but I know a little bit about what I'm talking about. Not really. So Stay Hungry. What is Stay Hungry? Well, it's my take on kind of a Farrelly Brothers. Even I go back even further to like the Zucker brothers. I grew up on Airplane. And The Naked Gun and Top Secret and movies like that, and then more recently like Kingpin and There's Something About Mary, movies for immature boys like myself, and so that's what Stay Hungry is. Stay Hungry is my take on like a sports mockumentary, sports comedy that hasn't really been done before, and that is the world of competitive eating. So if you read through Stay Hungry, and it's inspired partly by an old 80s Twisted Sister song of the same title. That's why the villain in the treatment is referred to as a Dee Snider type, because honestly, if I were making this movie and had the budget and had the juice to get him, I would actually hire Dee Snider to play the part. As well as there's a smaller part that I would love for him to do a cameo as another character that he played in a movie that he wrote and directed called Strangeland, which is a horror movie. I just think it'd be kind of a funny homage to that. It would be great if he could play both parts. But this is all the blue sky fantasy stuff. We don't need to worry about that right now. And then originally it was going to be about the character of Dewey, who's kind of he's I guess the male lead, but he's not the lead of the movie. The lead of the movie is Daphne. I've written Daphne to be an Asian American female. I thought it would be, well, first for two reasons. A, representation. We don't see a lot of movies with Asian American female leads, and I thought that would be nice to see. As well as it would be kind of funny to have a very, healthy, in shape young lady as this champion competitive eater. I just thought that would add to the comedy of it. But obviously, it doesn't have to be Asian. If you feel to go a different way, that's on you as the directors, production team. I say carte blanche. Do whatever you want. If you're working on Stay Hungry, do whatever you. There's no rules. You don't have to be loyal to much of anything. It's your project. And I know it's the humor is kind of raunchy. It's a Farrelly Brothers type thing, If you don't want to do that, I think I told Mr. Ryman this as well. If you want to adopt me, I'm looking for a home. If you want to adapt it into a PG comedy, If you're not comfortable with some of the sophomoric scatological humor, that's fine. If you can take this treatment and make it work and make it even remotely good and clean, you have a future in the pictures. Okay. So I'm excited to see what any of you can do with it. If you want to go all out and stick to kind of the direction I started in, that's great too. I'm excited to see that. So again, the sky's the limit. Do whatever you want. I trust you. You've got a great leader to advise you and to help you. So adapt it. You know, there are missing elements. I'll be the first. I mean, it's a treatment. It wasn't, you know, I couldn't get, I threw in some dialogue, things that I thought would be funny, little beats that I thought would be funny. If the thing with the chili doesn't work for you, well, see what you can do with it. I thought it's kind of funny, and it's a nice device to get them, you know, into a situation where, what are they going to do now to get the invitation? You'll see. But if you want to try something else, I mean, none of that's, you're not beholden to me as the, I mean, not even writer, as the whatever, the creator. You can say creative genius. Not my words, yours. It's fine. That's up to you. But I'm excited to see what you guys can do. Feel free to go as crazy as you want, or bring it in. Again, you know, obviously, important thing about being a producer and a director, there's always budget limitations, and as students, I'm sure you've got a lot of those. So keep that in mind. You know, when I'm writing, you know, when I'm writing novels, I even keep that in mind. You know, I write cinematically. Even when I wrote, even when I'm writing a book about, you know, cats running around Disneyland, I'm writing it cinematically. I'm writing this I wrote this as an animated feature, but. So you've got to keep these things in mind. Could this be done? How could this be done? You know, but you guys, why am I telling you this? I'm a guy who has an uncracked copy of Save the Cat. Why am I telling you these things? You're the experts. Let's see what you can do. I'm excited. I cannot wait. I can't wait to read your scripts. And I really can't wait to see the finished product. So cast it how you will. Again, I wrote Daphne as Asian American. Doesn't have to be. She could be Latina. She could be African American. She could be anything. Dewey, I wrote as, I say a Jack Black, Zach Galifianakis type. Honestly, if you want to go really deep, I'm a big fan of a local comedian to you guys from Tampa, or from that area, Bert Kreischer, who's a Travel Channel host. He's a stand-up comic. I love him. I wrote the part for him. He actually was the inspiration for Van Wilder. He went to Florida State, and Rolling Stone followed him around and wrote an article about him and named him the #1 party animal in the world. And Dewey is kind of that dude. Like, back in his heyday, he was the man. He was the party animal. He wasn't like, not Roy Munson. He wasn't squeaky clean. He was the wild man. He was probably more like the Big Earn character, or the Bill Murray character. He was the wild guy, you know. But he's fallen. He's you know, fallen from grace big time. But I wrote that part. I think Bert would play that part great. So if you want some inspiration, look him up, you know. See if you can get him. Why not? He's the perfect age. But, you know, I'm just trying to give you some inspirational points. But there are some things to fill in. I think there might be some more relational things that need to be there. And that's, if you guys want to do that, and if you want to tackle that and maybe try to add another layer to it, there should be another layer to it. I mean, I want it to be a silly sophomoric comedy in my head, but that doesn't mean there can't be. There has to be a layer of sweetness, or it won't work, right? So, and I missed that probably in the treatment. So that's on. Feel free to just add the sugar. But do what you want. This is, if you get Stay Hungry, it's your project. I'm excited to see what you guys can do. I can only wish you the best of luck, and I just can't wait to see all the steps along the way and then the finished product. I think you guys are going to do a fantastic job. So, good luck.